on your Feel Good Breakfast show, and this morning it is all about women's health. We're discussing PCOS and how, in fact, my friend, your lifestyle plays a part in it, but also getting to understand what the supplements do, how they can help us, as well as natural alternatives. We're joined by two incredible women that are here to make sure that we walk away with a little bit more knowledge, and I'm talking about the CEO of PHYTOCEUTICS. It is Laura Johnston, as well as Claire Yulsing-Stradum. She is a registered dietitian, as well as the co-founder of Nutritional Solutions Dietetics Practices, and a woman who is just doing the things like Laura is. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a feel-good welcome, please. Ladies, how are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Good, thank you.
That's good. You guys look stunning. Did you plan this?
Absolutely. We
Yes,
both
I
love
love
pink.
that. Well, ladies, looking gorgeous. Let's make sure that the whole country is feeling gorgeous.
Yeah.
Let's jump into it, because I feel like PCOS, even for me, is something I've been hearing about since I was a kid. And I don't think I've ever fully come to understand exactly what it is, because I guess I'm not affected by it right now. So can you explain what exactly PCOS is? And, you know, what are the things we need to look out for when we are trying to sort of diagnose ourselves and see if we have it?
So if we look at the diagnostic criteria, there are three key elements, and if you have two or more, then you have PCOS. One of them is if we're having irregular periods, so shorter than 21 days or longer than 35 days, or less than 8 cycles in a year, it's an ovulation. The other thing is if you've got cysts on your ovaries. So if you've had a gynae checkup, they can actually see these little cysts on the ovaries. But for some younger girls, they don't necessarily go to the gynae. There's now a blood test that can also be done called AMH, or anti-Mullin hormone, which is also now a new addition to the diagnostic criteria for PCOS. And the last one is clinical or biochemical signs of hyperandrogenism. So androgen is one of the hormones that go higher in PCOS, and it can cause hair growth where we don't want it. So girls get hair growth here, they lose hair here. Those are clinical signs. We also talk about hirsutism. So it's any hair in the midline. So hair here on the belly, those are signs of hyperandrogenism. You can also check the levels of androgens in a blood test. So there's different ways of looking at it. But if you have two of the three, that's PCOS.
Oh, wow. I feel like as ladies, we go through a lot, and we always need to be monitoring our bodies to understand how we can best help it to be at its best. But this is why then I want to ask you, because we know that, of course, things like supplements, things like even just our lifestyle, they help us to be able to manage PCOS. So can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
So the thing is, PCOS, first of all, often has an inflammation baseline. We have higher levels of inflammation. We need things like vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids. We need lots of vegetables in the diet, high fiber foods. We want to get omega-3 fish, sardines, pilchards, mackerel, salmon, trout into the diet. So that's one level in PCOS. The next thing is we often see low levels of magnesium, low levels of iron, vitamin B12 and vitamin D are common in PCOS, as well as zinc. So often nutrients in those areas are also necessary from a supplementation perspective. Then we also have a lot of metabolic disorders within PCOS where there's insulin resistance, and that's linked with the hormones. So things that help with insulin resistance are berberine, inositol therapies, and we use a combination of treatments when we treat PCOS, and it's a long-term condition. So the sooner we manage these symptoms, the better that individual's quality of life will be.
Right, and we deserve a great quality of life as ladies. We work hard enough, And Laura, you know, as a health coach, you're someone who has worked with a lot of specialists and doctors when it comes to PCOS. So what exactly would you be suggesting when it comes to women who are living with it?
Yeah, so touching on some of the issues with PCOS, like inflammation, nutrient deficiencies, poor metabolic health. So Biomax berberine, fantastic in terms of managing your metabolic health and your blood sugar levels. So again, blood sugar control becomes more difficult with PCOS. Nutrient deficiencies, so we've got a whole variety of vitamins and minerals that can address that. Magnesium, vitamin D, we've got also alternative forms of delivery like sprays, sachets for people that struggle with swallowing pills. And then key is omega-3s, your fatty acids. Ours is purest omega-3, and why it's called purest is that it has a very low TOTOX score, and what that means is that it's not rancid, it's not oxidized, and a lot of omega-3s in the market are rancid and oxidized, and it can actually be harmful to your health rather than beneficial to your health.
Oh, wow. You see, these are the things we don't know. That's so interesting. And, you know, for me, berberine is something that has been coming up a lot whenever I speak to people about a lot of health things. You know, does berberine then come off as something that really is good for you all around?
So our berberine a bit different. It's combined with green tea and chromium, all of which address metabolic health and insulin sensitivity.
Yeah.
There are also a lot of studies on berberine for gut health, also in managing blood cholesterol levels. So I think if you're struggling with your metabolic health as a whole, and considering the gut is tied into so many different functions, it is a worthwhile supplement to look at if you're struggling. But we do always say, speak to a healthcare practitioner first.
I like that, because some of us like to use Dr. Google, and that doesn't always work out the best.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, this is why we have the likes of you guys. And please, I'm going to come back to you, my lovely. Claire, talk to me about just the success stories that you've enjoyed and been able to see.
I've actually had a patient once who she couldn't fall pregnant and she has PCOS, and she couldn't afford IVF, and she was saving and saving for, you know, wanting to have a baby. And we had her on inositols, vitamin D, berberine. We had on a host of things while she was now saving for this IVF. And we did her follow-up bloods after 6 months of nutrition intervention, exercise, taking the supplements. And I sent her for her follow-up bloods, and the lab phoned me back and said, listen, there's something up with this lady's hormones. Can we do a pregnancy test? And I said, you can, but it's really unlikely that she's pregnant. She's literally really got big fertility concerns. So he said, okay, he's going to do the test. And the pathologist phoned me back, and he's like, this lady's pregnant. And I had to phone her and say, where are you? I said, where are you? She said, I'm driving out of my office park. I said, no, please go back and park your car. And she did, and she sat in the car, and I said, you pregnant? And she said, there's no ways. She said, you're wrong. I said, I'm not wrong. We've tested it, you're pregnant. You need to go to your gynae now, they're waiting for you. We're putting you on all the supportive stuff. And she's got a baby girl. And
that is so beautiful.
So that's why I love the PCOS space. It's just amazing.
That is incredible. Oh my goodness. And you see, she was able to do that because she had someone to guide her, someone who could let her know what she needs to do in this journey. And that is absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, ladies.
Pleasure.
Oh man, do you see how it is all about feeling good here on your Feel Good Breakfast show? This is why we're here to let you in on all of the information you need to be able to look after yourself and your body. And PCOS, ladies, it is not a horrible life sentence, no. It is something that you're able to live with and able to look after yourself with. And that is why you need to make sure that you are in the know of what it is that PHYTOCEUTICS has to offer you. And you can find all the information as well as those natural supplements that can help you with that PCOS on PHYTOCEUTICS.com. Now, I always say we love to chat about our ladies. We love to make sure that they are looking after themselves, but we also love to make sure that they have the best quality of life. And we're doing so with our PHYTOCEUTICS family this morning, right here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Make sure you don't go anywhere.
Optimize your gut health with PHYTOCEUTICS range of pre, pro, and postbiotics. Use code EXPRESSO for 15% off at PHYTOCEUTICS.com.